statement from Coach, and then go right into questions.
Thanks, Nico. First and foremost, congratulations to North Texas. Incredible second half from them. Deserving champion. We played well all season long, and Michelle and his group should be congratulated first and foremost. On the flip side, look, I can't.
Recording in progress.
I can't help but be complimentary of our Philadelphia Union 2 team. All year we've kind of defied the odds and been able to beat teams like North Texas, especially 2 goals to the good in the first half and playing really well. Losing Marcus Anderson certainly hurt at halftime to make that change. And then not the greatest first goal that we've conceded. I'm sure Andy would love to have that one back. And then obviously when you go a man down, it's going to be really, really difficult. But all that said, I still have to congratulate my team. Fantastic season, the youngest starting 11 in this league, and the second youngest team overall by the roster. And I'm proud of how brave they were. I'm proud of how well they fought. And you know, if not on a little bit, if we're not a little bit luckier today, maybe we see this one out too. But hard to not be disappointed, but at the same stage, very proud of our group.
Thanks, Marlon. Jillian?
With this being such a big experience for the young players on this squad, what was the message to the players at the end?
Haven't really had a whole lot to say to them just yet. You know, there's sometimes, look, I don't talk to them a whole lot after we win either. So there'll be a point in time where we address it, but it's not, shouldn't be, they're 18 years old basically on average. Not too much of a postmortem. They've got long careers ahead of them.
And this was a historic season for Union too, and so many new fans came on board. MLS NEXT Pro is growing. While there will be frustration that a Philly team once again came so close to winning a championship, what is your message to the fan base for the future?
Yeah, it was a trophy. We don't have a whole lot of trophies, and we just won one just a week ago. And I think the main message to the fan base is if we could achieve with this group of players, this young group of prospects, we had one player legally allowed to go and buy himself a drink on the pitch that started this game today. You can't be more excited for what the future holds in store for this club, because for that team to go out against a team 3 years older on average per player and put up the fight and play as well as they did for so long, this club has nothing but good things in store for them. And certainly, you know, in a different day, maybe it plays out a little bit differently, but for us to be that young and compete that well, we have nothing but great days ahead for the Philadelphia Union.
Kyle?
Hey, Marlon. Second half, you guys seem to come out a little flat. Was that more North Texas, the changing up tactics? And if so, what did they change up that was kind of putting you guys back on your feet?
Yeah, you know, I think losing Marcus was a big part of it. The ability to hold the ball up front. Him and Eddie have a nice partnership together, and it was a little bit of a shock, I think, for everybody that he couldn't continue. I think that was the first stage, and I just think it was not a great free kick goal that we conceded, and you could feel the momentum swing at that point. And unfortunately, that was only 6 minutes into the second half. That said, we were okay, you know, and we were okay. But they started to push more numbers forward like we expected they were going to. We just didn't do a great job in terms of our transition and really just breaking the lines and finding the furthest man, which was Marcus in the first 45 minutes. It's different, and so just honestly, we just didn't do a great job in the transitional moments in particular, and I think the first goal kind of put us on our heels a little bit.
I noticed in the second half you kind of went pivoted from the diamond to a double pivot and back. What was the thought process behind it?
Yeah, we had no access really to the ball a whole lot once Marcus came out, and the idea was just to kind of solidify with them pushing the extra numbers higher. They started with Sainty really deep in the beginning of the game and started to push him up into the midfield, and made things really difficult for us when they were able to get the ball into the center of the field and hit switches. So we tried to get a little bit of an extra layer of protection in front of our center backs to try and slow that down a little bit. Unfortunately, we just started turning the ball over a little bit too much. You know, the kids played as hard as they could. If I could reverse it and do it over again, I'm not going to have to look it back. We've trusted these guys in these kind of moments all season long. Trying to go with changing from the diamond to double six was theoretically should stabilize us a little bit against them pushing the extra numbers forward. But we just didn't do a great job of holding onto the ball when we did win it.
And finally, you've talked about this project throughout the year, and now you see the growth and the growth moments. You see the Bridge Brigade out there that traveled all the way. You've seen the fans that traveled throughout the year, throughout this playoff run. Looking from this year to the future, what can something like the Bridge Brigade, the fan base for this second team be, do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, what a great group of guys and gals. I mean, the Bridge Brigade has been everything for this group. I started with this club, and there were 15 people watching them play games. Now they're playing in front of great crowds like this, and in particular our group. The only thing I can really say is thank you to them. Thank you for supporting this young group of players. Thank you for being behind them. Thank you for, making these trips and supporting them, win or lose, no matter what. They're always there. And I really don't have a whole lot of more words for that besides for thank you.
Coach, Moises Chillon Verde all day. I know that this result is still fresh, and they're speaking of things that are fresh and unfortunate. The loss of Holden Trent is something that is still very heavy in the hearts of your fans, of your staff, of your players. One of the things that's impressed me the most about watching your players in these playoffs is how mature they have been in carrying something like that along with the stress of a playoff push. Can you tell us a little bit about what the self-care regimen has been like in these young players that are dealing with something that no player should have to deal with, that they couldn't have possibly expected?
Yeah, I think as a 48-year-old who's lost family members and am old enough and mature enough to deal with loss, it hurts me to lose somebody that's close. And so to think about 15, 16, 17-year-olds losing somebody that they're very close to, and to see how resilient they were through the whole process is incredibly impressive for me as a coach, for me as someone who spends that much time with them. This group absolutely exceeded all expectations as far as the football goes, and then to see them come together and unite and support each other through a difficult period of time. And some guys, like an Andy Rick, and how goalkeepers are, they're always together, they're always spending time together, they're the support system for each other when they make mistakes and when things go well. For the guys to rally around each other, and it's hard for me to articulate how impressed I was with this group being selfless. And if you think about the culture that we have at the Philadelphia Union, it's like dog eat dog when it comes to competition in this group, because there's so many young talented players, and they were able to put aside all their individual aspirations for a collective kind of unity in a really difficult time. And we tried not to use it as a motivational tactic to do it for Holden. What we wanted to do was honor Holden with our performances, and to make sure that the guys went out and left everything out in the field to honor his legacy. And I made a comment when we won the Eastern Conference title, and I can do it now since you've asked me. It was always about continuing to find a result so I could come out here and tell you that Holden was a hero, that he was an organ donor, that even in his passing he gave so others could have life. And we needed to make sure that I had an opportunity to sit in front of you and say that to you. And so I thank you for asking the question, because I get to say it one more time before this year is out. But at the same stage, going back to how I started this answer, I couldn't be more impressed by this group for the way they handled it. Because if I were their age, I don't know if I would have handled it as well as they did.
And just on that note, how do you see the story of the season in this league that is so heavily focused on development? What do you feel your players, you've seen them grow and learn in the most important ways over the course of 2024?
Yeah, look, it is a league that is focused on development, but nobody committed to that more than the Philadelphia Union. Nobody put out a team like we did week after week, and saw success doing it. This group all year long was in every single game, and every game that went by, they got better and better and better. And as someone who started in this group doing this 3 years ago, I could tell you it wasn't easy in year one in a development league, and it wasn't easy in year 3 either, by the way. But every game we went out, we were the underdog. Every game we went out, there was, a Pedrinho versus a Kevin Sullivan, 12 years a senior, and we go out there and we competed every single day. All I can do is praise these guys. It's hard right now because right now we're all kind of hurting. But if you walk a day in our shoes to see what we go out and we do every single week after week after week to compete and to somehow find a way, everybody out there saying congratulations on a great season, it's hard to really put into perspective right now. But I think give me a week or so and I can probably answer that question even more so in a better way for you.
All right, last question here.
Coach, what would you share about the Venezuelan players, Rojas, Sequeira, Riasco, about their development during this year, and what will we see from there in the upcoming years?
Yeah, great kids. It's I don't think I look at it as Venezuelan players. I look at them as part of our family. I think they're all. It's a different style of play, in the Philadelphia Union compared to what they're used to in South America. But they've all committed to trying to be the best that they can, to learn the style of play, to be uncomfortable, and to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And it's not easy when English is your second language and the food is different, and trust me, the winters can be cold. But they've all come so far, and I think hopefully there's some better days ahead of them still too.
All right, we can switch over to Zoom. Jonathan Tannenwald.
Thank you, Nico. Hi, Marlon.
Hey, John.
First of all, for those of us who were watching from home and maybe the broadcast didn't quite detail it, what happened to Marcus that was the injury?
Same thing that was bothering him a few weeks ago when we had to change him. It's just he's got some tendonitis in his knee that he's trying to push through.
Okay. Thank you for that. We spoke in the days before the game about the mentality of winning a final, and I just wonder how you as a coach handle the mental side of losing a final in this manner, if there's particular manners of coaching that you have to do, knowing the deep relationship you have with these players and knowing that it's probably going to continue, whether you in your current job or perhaps, for all we know, on the first team bench next year, because we don't know who the manager is going to be next year. How do you manage the psychology of a moment like this?
Yeah, that's a great question. Look, we just won an Eastern Conference championship and went to a Next Pro final with, like I said, the youngest team in this league. How do we manage it? We grow from it the same way we've grown all season long from setbacks. Whether I'm here doing it or somebody else is doing it, these kids are reaching the culmination of the highest level that they're currently playing at such a young age bodes so well for the future. You don't hit your prime until you're 28 years old or so. That's literally 95% of that roster. It's going to hurt, Jonathan. It's going to sting right now. I apologize to the fans that we couldn't get the job done today. But I know in my heart of hearts that those guys will come back and they will be better for it. They will be more seasoned for it. And the first team will get a better product of a player because they've been through what they've been through at such a young age now. They are going to have players that have won a trophy and are going to be hungry to win the next trophy.
All right, final question. We go to Jose Nunez.
Thanks, Marlon. I think you sort of answered it a little bit. I was going to ask you about, you mentioning defying odds and, seeing this team grow and learn over the year and frankly, over the years that you've seen these players develop from 16, 17-year-olds to 18-year-olds, almost 19-year-olds and average. But, what is next for you? That's what's so interesting considering everything that has unfolded over the last, 48 hours at most.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea what's next. I could obviously everything that's happened back home, I thought and rehearsed of an answer that would somewhat come off being authentic, but I think that would not be authentic for me to just make something up and say I haven't thought about it, because it's out there, right? And I've heard my name bandied about. But look, I don't know what's next. I didn't know what's next when I came to Philadelphia. I certainly didn't come to Philadelphia to be a first-team coach, and I didn't actually come to Philadelphia to be a second-team coach. I came to Philadelphia for my family. They were here, and I was coaching in college, and we were too far apart. My son was part of this project here, and if he was going to develop in this project as a professional footballer for the Union, I thought he would have a better chance of doing it if I were with him as his father and keeping that intact. That was my ambition for coming here. I think my ambition obviously evolved as I began to invest time in the Paxton Aronsons and Jack McGlynn's and Nate Harrells, Quinn Sullivan's, all those guys of the world, and it became a lot bigger, and the ambition changed a little bit. Now, as we got to make this run in these playoffs, obviously the ambition became about winning, and I've told you guys over and over and over again, it was always about development, and that we would learn how to win through that development, and we did. As we got to the Eastern Conference Championship and we won that, we wanted to win this one too. And so the ambition obviously has evolved into a whole lot more than what it originally was when I came here. One of the things that I'm fairly confident in is that this project can only continue to go forward from here. I think regardless of whether I'm a part of it or not moving forward, the old coach's adage of leave it better than you found it, I'd like to think that we've done that. I'd like to think that all those aforementioned names, all the ones in between, and now you see the CJ Olneys, the David Vasquez, the Neil Pierres of the world who are the next ones up, that literally everybody in this organization should be super excited about, because not only are you getting a development project of young players coming in, you're getting young players that know how to win trophies, whether it was playoffs at MLS Next Level or GA Cups. They've taken the next step now, and they've gone and won the next by going out and winning an Eastern Conference trophy. Are they going to be ready to come in and be first team starters next year? No, they're still young players. They're still got growth to do, but they're coming in at a higher point than maybe some of the other guys have prior to joining the first team. And so here I am talking about them again, and I'm kind of losing myself in your question, and I apologize for that. But it's hard for me to really think about myself at this moment, because I know they've got a group of guys in there that are hurting. And like I said, give me a week or so, and maybe I'll have a more articulate answer to give you. And I apologize for kind of rambling on, but I'm proud of the work that's been done here. I'm proud of the staff and their development as well. If you were to have, like I said, been able to be a fly on the wall on what we've gone through, ups and downs and ins and outs, and I think you'd be even more surprised. But I can't do anything more right now than hail a heck of a lot of praise on, again, the youngest group in this league and the impressive show that they put on tonight for as long as they possibly could, and they're to be congratulated for that.
All right, thanks,
Never
Marlon.
apologize, Marlon. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Marlon. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.